One of the most common and most curious observations reported by shadow people experiencers is that these entities are able to make physical contact with them, but then often disappear as though they are merely holograms.
Generally, the shadow people will leave the room. Either they will dissolve in a puff of smoke, or they will walk through a door. And they may or may not be material, have mass, have structural form. And then there's been talk about maybe they come from some other dimension.
We take for granted that we live in a three-dimensional universe. The quantum theory makes higher dimensions possible. Think of fish living in a pond, for example. The pond is two-dimensional. The fish are stuck in a two-dimensional world. They cannot visualize a third dimension. But you could lift one of these fishes into the third dimension, and they'd be shocked. Shocked to realize there's a whole universe in the third dimension beyond their pond. Well, we physicists, some of us believe that we are the fish. We spend all our life in a three-dimensional pond thinking that that's all there is, when right above us, there could be higher dimensions, hyperspatial dimensions, up to 11.
Theoretically, we have up to 11 dimensions. There may be other entities and other life forms living within these dimensions. Now, how would they look to us if they crossed over those dimensions and entered into our world? Well, maybe a shadow entity is one of these interdimensional beings that has crossed over from some other place in space-time into our world. And we're seeing them as a shadow because their energy and their personal resonance doesn't quite adhere to the energy and the resonance of our planet.
If shadow people exist, and it's very possible that they do, I think they're coming from other dimensions within our universe. I think they're entities that somehow leak through, because some of them even look disoriented, like they don't know where they are. Somehow they're coming through another dimension into ours, and we're stuck with them.
Could it be that shadow people experiencers are witnessing entities that are capable of traveling between dimensions? According to ancient astronaut theorists, there is evidence that certain places on Earth act as interdimensional portals.
We see shadow entities in these certain locations around the world in which they seem to appear more often. There are locations around our planet where there's more of that Earth energy that is rising out of the ground. You know, Stonehenge, the pyramids, Karnak, places with that ancient energy that's rising from the ground. Now, an interdimensional being may be using those locations to enter into our domain.
Some researchers believe it is also possible that shadow people can alter the human mind to see into other dimensions.
Ancient peoples believe that shadow people have the ability to enter a person's mind and change that person's perception so the person can see the spirit. They've entered from their world into our world.
According to ancient astronaut theorists, the notion that the human mind can be altered to access other dimensions is supported by experiments with a powerful hallucinogen called dimethyltryptamine, or DMT. Between 1990 and 1995, scientists at the University of New Mexico administered DMT to 60 volunteers and were surprised to find that many of them had very similar visions, including encounters with strange beings. Experiments with electric stimulation of the brain have also caused people to have unexplainable encounters.
There was a study done in Sweden where the scientists put electric charges in certain parts of the brain just to see how the subject would react to them. And a young undergrad was sitting there with a notebook, and when they increased the voltage to a certain part of her brain, she started pulling away from something that wasn't there. And afterwards, when she was asked by the scientist to describe what was going on, she said that she saw a shadow entity behind her. And when the voltage was at its highest, she said it was trying to take the notebook and pen out of her hands, and she was jerking to keep it from removing them. So is it some part of our brain that needs an electrical charge to help us see what's already there? Very possibly.